No problem, and thanks for coming in. I know you came all the way down from Peterborough, so it's quite a hike.
Yes, it is a little bit of a hike, but I'm making the move to Toronto officially soon, so next couple of weeks it'll be easier for me to do these things.
Perfect. All right, so let's get it straight into this interview here.
Sure.
When did you begin your singing career?
Well, I've always been a singer, and I've always been interested in singing at a very young age, but at 16 years old is when I decided to really take it to the next level and start to pursue things a little bit. So I started in doing the singing competitions in local areas, and that was just mainly to get on the stage and used to singing in front of people and just kind of get some feedback from people. So my first one was actually in grade 10. I did a TAS Idol, that's the name of my school. So I got a lot of response from my different peers, and that gave me some confidence to start doing this. And then 19 years old is when I started doing it professionally, and I recorded my first CD.
And of course, you're 21, 22?
22 now, just turned 22 in February.
So what made you sort of start to sing songs and eventually get into writing songs?
Well, at a very young age, I was introduced to music by my mom. She always would listen to, I guess, varies of music, and same with my dad. My dad was the rock side of things. My mom did the pop and country, and my mom was also a singer, so I'd see her playing guitar, and she'd learn different songs. So seeing her doing that, I found it interesting and started copying her. So she'd print off lyrics, and I would learn the same songs that she would learn. So.
And who's been your biggest influence, whether it's musically or just like in general for your career?
Well, my mom has been a big influence to me because I always looked up to her singing, so whatever she listened to, I would listen to. So different artists like Leanne Rimes, Patsy Cline, Martina McBride, and then for some pop people, I always liked Celine Dion and Whitney Houston. So people with some amazing big voices, their voices are like their musical instrument. Those are the ones that I've always looked up to and been influenced by.
Very talented group there for
sure.
So your first CD was released, and it was a big success for you, and some of the songs made you on the Can Country Top 100 chart. Why do you think those were so successful with your first CD? I mean, being at the age of 19.
Well, that's the thing. You don't really know. It's kind of a phenomenon when those things do happen. But I think it is just that I did have my own sound. Like I've heard that I have a bit of a soulful, wispy sound that's a little, I guess, different from what's out there right now. And also, I find that the arrangement and how it's produced can make a big difference on how things sound. I think at that moment it sounded a little different on radio, and it has that kind of pop country feel to it. So I think that a large audience seemed to have liked it.
And do you find that just singing country music, do you find that you attract a different set of listeners entirely, or do you find that you're getting the same group of same listeners because it is like a country mix with pop?
Yeah, I find I get, I guess, all ages, all types of listeners. I'll have young girls that are big fans, and then I'll have moms that are big fans, and I also have different people from the States that I've met through different websites that like my music as well. So it really just depends. I think it's good because it really attracts different age ranges and different all types of people. So that's pretty cool if it's able to do that. So yeah,
they say that country radio is one of they have like the strongest, most supportive listeners, like country radio.
Oh, they're
listeners.
very loyal.
Yeah, very loyal listeners. So it's a good genre to sing in for sure if you like it. So your most popular song is Bittersweet. We're going to be playing that here on the show. It reached #1 on the country alternative music charts. What inspired you to sing this song?
Well, I was working with a guy named Cyril Rawson at the time, and he's an amazing singer, well, sorry, not singer, songwriter from my hometown, and he's worked in the Nashville area for many years, and he's an amazing writer, and he's been a big mentor to me, and he actually showed me this song, and I don't know, I just really love the message in it, in that everyone goes through ups and downs in life, but really it's all kind of meant to be, and that's what it is. It's bittersweet. It's good and it's bad, but yeah, it's really meant to be, and these things that happen in our lives all lead to one main thing. So
there you go. And of course that one song ended up winning March 2010 Channel Prize for country music, or country music anyway, and this seems to be one of the biggest milestones in your careers. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, it's one of them. It was actually based off a website called ourstage.com, which is for independent artists, and they hold different competitions every month for every genre, so anybody who's an independent artist out there, it's actually an awesome site for it, and they're super supportive. But it's all based on votes and fans, and also the musicians alike, so having that from people where it's like you can't really cheat at something like that, so having people vote based on the music and my voice is an amazing thing that I was able to get #1 with that.
And of course, you said, like, what else has been the biggest milestones in your career? Just want to give a little bit of background on that.
Another big milestone, well, the biggest one is working with Cyril Ross, and another one is there's a amazing singer-songwriter from Canada as well. Her name's Lisa Brokop. She is a good friend of Cyril's, and she did background vocals for me in Nashville. So that was pretty amazing itself because she's an amazing person and someone I would look up to as well. And also going to Nashville was an amazing milestone. Being in the place where country music originates from is pretty cool, and just to see the history there because it's still there this day and you can see it and feel it, so that's cool.
And kind of give us that experience a little detail more of, like, some of us obviously haven't been to Nashville, so, like, is country music in your face there, or is it just something that you just feel it when you're down there?
Well, there's actually all types of music that goes on there. It's called Music City for a reason, because it's everything.
Yeah.
But when you go into Nashville, you actually see the original Grand Ole Opry on the street, and you know that, like, historical people have been there for years. And that's just there, but it's not really a big deal to the people that go there. It's just part of their lives, and on every street corner there's, like, country music, all types of music, so it's kind of neat because it's different than what you're used to, but at the same time it's almost like life. It's not a big deal really, but it's cool. It's another way of life, but it's not.
And you're currently working on something right now. Do you want to explain a little bit about what that is?
Well, right now I am working on my songwriting aspect of things. I'm working with a few different people in the Ontario area, and I worked with another guy down in Nashville, and yeah, I'm just really working on making that stronger because I do think it's important to get my own material on my next album because I think it comes from a better place. It comes from your heart, and people get to know you better as an artist, and I've always been interested in that sort of thing, so it's right down my alley, so why not work on it?
Do you find there's a difference between country artists from Nashville and country artists from Ontario, or do they really sort of, like, sing the same sort of things, or do they have, like, the same goals in mind, or is it completely different?
It's similar in the way that we all want to kind of reach the same goal, and that it's a competitive world and we all get knocked down and we all have to stay positive, but it is different in the way that we sing about different things, obviously, because we have different experiences. Because Nashville, it's really cool because they're very down to earth, and they have that southern hospitality, so that comes out in their music, and we have that too, but it's in a different way. It's hard to really explain, but yeah, basically we're the same but different, I guess.
That sort of makes sense in a way. But anyway, if you're just joining us, you were joined by Elyse Saunders, country and pop singer, fantastic person, and rising star. You've got 900 or so fans on your website, on Facebook anyway. What's that like? Like, how do you feel having that many people following you? Like, does that give you inspiration to keep singing?
It does. Seeing numbers like that always gives me inspiration. Having different fans say, like, oh, you're awesome, like, I don't know, I listen to your music all the time. That kind of stuff is what keeps me going when I feel down. I look at that stuff, and I always say to them, like, you made my day, because really they did, because without stuff like that, without the support, it's hard to really know whether you're doing something right. And also I've worked so hard with networking and gaining fans, because I do interact with all my fans, so seeing those numbers knows that my hard work has paid off.
Absolutely, absolutely. In 2009 you released 11 Crystal Angels, and where did you get the idea for this song anyway?
Well, again, Cyril Rawson was the one who approached me. He said, well, are you going to be doing a Christmas single this year? And it is a really good idea to do one because it's another way to get on radio with a different sound. And he actually wrote it with an amazing songwriter from Nashville named Don Frimmer. And they came up with this idea of 11 Crystal Angels. And when I heard it, I felt it really related to my, I don't know, just background of growing up in Christmas time, because it's very nostalgic in the way that it tells the story of a little girl and how I guess she has this memory of hanging crystal angels on the tree. And there's one that breaks, and it's one of those things when you're little, it's a big deal.
Right.
But the mom says, like, you're the angel that replaced that angel. So it's kind of a nice song. Yeah.
So you opened for the Festival of Lights in front of 6,000 of your fans.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was that? Describe that feeling for anybody who doesn't know what that's like.
It's an overwhelming feeling. the year before that, I actually had the chance to open for Derek Rattan. He's another amazing country artist who's from Canada, and he had 10,000 people there. So that was my first actual real big performance. So that kind of broke the ice for me, and it's a really hard experience to really tell unless you've experienced it. And like when you're on stage, it's almost like you're there but you're not. It's you feel the energy of the crowd, and it's an overwhelming feeling, but it's amazing the energy that you get from it. I couldn't stop smiling after I was done. And then having my own year, the next year I shared the stage with another band, and having that much support from my hometown was pretty amazing. I didn't know what to expect or how many numbers would come out, but when I looked from the trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, all these people are here for me. So that was pretty cool, and it made me a lot more confident.
Do you find that because you're from Peterborough, do a lot of people kind of come up to you and sort of recognize you in the city when you're going around? Or?
Yeah, I do. I have some people who are like, oh, you're Elyse Saunders, that girl that sings like country music. I'm like, yeah. And then other people, they'll kind of give me like a second glance where it's like, oh, she looks familiar, but they're not quite sure. So yeah.
And what's that like? I mean, obviously I wouldn't know, but give us a little bit of a like, hey, I know you. Like, what is that? Does that sort of motivate you to keep singing?
Yeah, it's a neat feeling. It kind of makes you feel like you're getting kind of famous, but really, in the big picture, I'm not famous yet. But in my hometown, I am, I guess. So that's kind of cool.
It's got to start small somehow, right? That's how it works. All right. So what's been the biggest challenge in your career? And obviously, everybody goes through challenges. What's been yours?
I would say just keeping positive and breaking out in the scene is super hard. Like when you first come out in the scene, it seems like it's a lot easier thing to do, and that I don't know, that you basically just make music and then people will like it. But really, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that a lot of people do not see. It just takes hours and hours and hours to do basically one song. So to complete one song and then be able to perform it and get the musicians for it, it's all really challenges in itself just to pull it all together. And there's always new challenges every day that I have to be faced with, but it makes me stronger as an artist, and it makes me grow as an artist. So they're all things that we kind of have to experience anyways.
And you just do music, like you're not in school right now, so you're just working solely on focusing on your music career and working part-time. So how does that like help when you're just working part-time? Is it helping your career better because you can just solely focus on music instead of just being like, I got to do school and I got to do music and then I got to like a life after that?
Yeah. No, it's definitely made things 100% easier. That was something, well, that was actually a challenge that I was faced with after high school was, do I go to school or do I pursue this music career, because that's a big decision. So my parents were super supportive, and they were actually the ones that said, like, I think you should pursue this because you have the gift, why not give it a chance, because there's always school. And I did work very hard in school, and I was at like the university level where I could have moved on to school, and I can always do that. So that's, I think, important that you give yourself chances to be able to do other things. But yeah, this is a full-time career, and I've made it my sole thing to do. And it's made it, I think, a lot easier because you look at other artists who have gone to school, or they have work, or they have to pay for bills with home and their car and everything, and it makes it so much harder, and it makes it a lot more time and energy and years before you can really see success. But I've seen a lot of success in such a short period of time because I've been given that chance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you started at 19 and look where you are now.
Yeah, it's only really been, I guess, 2.5 years, 3 years doing this. So.
That kind of leads into one of my questions. That is, where do you see yourself in the future? I mean, you've gotten very, very popular. I mean, in sort of small circles, we could say.
Yeah.
Really, really quickly. Where do you see yourself in the future heading? I mean, where do you see yourself 2 years from now?
Well, 2 years from now, I do see myself start to go on bigger tours. And then I guess 5 years or 6 years from now, I would like to see myself as an international artist that's being played all over the world. And I would love to be able to play in front of thousands of people all the time, and just have fans from all over the place, because I think that music is a positive thing, and if you can help people with music and heal people in some way, I think that's pretty special, and I would love to be a part of that.
And what do you think it's going to take for you to get to that next level that you need to be at?
I think just keep pursuing, keeping my head up, and working hard, and stay driven, and networking, and keep working with positive people that see the same goal in mind.
All right, and you just mentioned networking, which is exactly what I wanted to talk about next. You have a Facebook account, and you have Twitter, and you have a Reverb Nation page, so you're very, very easy to get a hold of online. How's that been one of the strongest parts of your career, is the fact that there is these tools now to get you noticed? You don't have to like go out in the street and look like some weird dude just selling CDs. Like, here, buy my CD. Like, I don't, you never heard of me, but buy it.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what internet can do now for independent artists. It actually makes it a little bit harder for independent artists because there's so much out there now where it's like, wow, there's amazing talent everywhere. But at the same time, always the best, I guess, surface to the top. So it's been really cool because I started out with nothing, and MySpace was actually one of my first networking sites that I got on, and just would work at it every day, getting people to know me, who I am as an artist and who I am as a person, and then I just kept building from there. So I have fans all over the world now because of that, and that's neat in itself.
Yeah, it must be a pretty cool feeling. I mean, it's the same thing here at the studio, but so do you find that, like, I hate to even mention his name, but I mean, like, you look at the likes of Justin Bieber and social media, he's basically the definition of, like, the artist from social media.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself kind of, like, going down that path, but obviously not being Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Do you want to see yourself go down that same pathway as him, or?
Well, I do see that. I'm working on hopefully starting something for YouTube so that people can start seeing videos of me, because it's hard when you put yourself on the internet and you're just behind the computer desk. People don't always know if it's you or not. So, but I do see myself going down that path where I would love to be able to just keep growing and building my fan base online as well as do my other stuff outside of the computer. But yeah, whatever positive thing comes from that or elsewhere would be amazing.
All right, I'm going to read a quote here from your Reverb Nation page, and I took this off the site, and it's published by Bethany S. I'm not sure who that is. I would like to know when I finish reading this quote. This was on November 17th in 2009, so you must have only been about 19 or 20 at this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the quote. Canada not only produces great hockey players and delicious bacon, but also talented country singers. Hailing from our northern neighbor is Ontario-born Elyse Saunders. With surprisingly soulful voice and diminutive blonde, has a range of a variety to make it big in country music. With a look like Miranda Lambert and Carrie Underwood, but a voice like Martina McBride, Elyse has all the trappings of a star. How does that make you feel when you hear something like that, especially when you were only 19 or 20 years old at this time?
It's like crazy to hear stuff like that because I look up to those artists and they're all amazing women in the industry that I look up to and would love to be something like them one day. So hearing that from people, I guess, just keeps making me believe that it could happen. And the lady actually who said it was off of the Our Stage site, which I mentioned before, and so I didn't even know that she was writing this or anything. They kind of just chose me as a featured artist and then did this quote, so that was pretty cool.
And that kind of leads in, it's not on the sheet, but it leads into my other question, and that's kind of like, what other media have you been featured in? Because I look at your page on Reverb Nation, I look at your Facebook page, and like you've been featured on a lot of stuff. I mean, can you kind of go through some of what that is that you've been featured on?
It's actually hard to remember all of them. People have been super supportive, so that's the number one thing that I have to put out there that I'm so thankful for, because without them, internet wouldn't really know me. So I've also been featured on MySpace. They have different stuff. They had different charts for different areas that they would feature how well people were doing in their area. So MySpace was one. And then there was another guy who was supporting ladies of country music from all over the world. And I don't think he actually has it anymore, but at the time it was a pretty popular website. And he actually created a magazine, independent magazine called Ladies of Country Music, LOCM, and he featured me in there, which actually has an amazing article that I'm very proud of, too. And yeah, Our Stage, Maverick Magazine, that's another one. There's another girl, again, MySpace has been huge for me. She found me, and she's from the UK, so she was like, I love your music, I'd love to get you in Maverick Magazine, which features independent artists. So she did a CD review on me, and she did 5 stars for me, and she just basically said how much she liked my CD and that people should buy it, so that was cool. There's another guy, again, MySpace, Andy, who is from the UK, and he likes to help out different independent artists. He just really loves music in general. So he came across my website, and he's gotten me featured on different internet radio stations in the area, and that have a lot of listeners, and different magazines and that sort of thing.
That's perfect, and I mean, obviously here on my show, and I found you on Bieber Nation, oddly enough, because I mean, you've been found mostly on MySpace, and like I don't really, I don't use MySpace to find that many artists, but I think I should now because there just seems to be a lot of talent in that pool as well.
Yes, there is.
Is there anything else you kind of want to add for this interview tonight?
Well, for any artists out there that are pursuing this kind of industry, I would say it's definitely a very hard industry, so you have to have some kind of support system, because if you don't, it will make it way harder for you to be able to break into this. So find a positive support system, surround yourself with people that are very supportive and that know some stuff in the industry. Any advice you can take from people to further you along is great, and find your own sound, and yeah, keep your head up.
And just one final question. Is there any shows that are up and coming that you're going to be playing at?
Well, on the 26th in my hometown, Peterborough, there is a fundraiser that's going on that you can find on my Facebook. I have it advertised on there. It's facebook.com/Elyse Saunders Online, ELYSE, because I know some people get confused on the spelling. That's coming up, and then I hope to get some stuff in the summertime and around Ontario, and I'll be making the move to Toronto, and hopefully I'll have a bunch of stuff going on up here too.
Perfect. Well, when you do move to Toronto, please give me a shout, and if you ever want to come in the studio or if I ever want to feature you again, you're obviously more than welcome to come in here.
Yeah, will do.